Hi YouTubers, hi, I'm back with the 23 books of 2023. I'm still recording Yarmouth. Trying to get as many of these done. To be totally honest, okay, one of the reasons, okay, is due to energy crisis. Okay, so if I get them all done now, I don't have to worry about it because energy prices are going up and it's a struggle. So I got this in the works. It was in a 3 for £5, now 3 for £6 grey. Married at First Swipe. Okay, not sight, swipe. Right. Now, I liked aspects of this book. Okay, it's very, very clever. It's by Claire Frost. Right. And here's it's a very long blurb. I'm going to have to trim it down. Hannah lives life on the edge, never wanted to pass up an adventure, but sometimes she wishes she has someone to spend the quiet moments with. Jess has been with her husband for 20 years, but marriage isn't as perfect as it seems, and with her online dating business on the brink, all she can help but wonder whether settling down is all it's cracked up to be. When Hannah learns that Jess's business has taken a hit, she has an idea. She's going to find a man using Jess's dating app and meet her for the first time at the altar. It will generate some much needed publicity for the app, and maybe, just maybe, Hannah will find what she's looking for. Right, so Hannah has basically, she is a bit lousy in the dating scene. She goes on a date quite early on with meets a guy on an app, not her friend's app, and turns out he's got a girlfriend. Yep, after they spend the night together, and she's travelled the world. She has wanderlust. She just goes all over. And she's got to the point, okay, where she sees her best friend, Jess, and Jess married her childhood sweetheart, okay, they met at uni, married for 20 years, 2 kids, and, been with her husband for 20 years, married for 10, 2 kids, twins, and she is just struggling under the weight of everything. It's the way these people see their lives as, they kind of idealize what each other has, okay, but they don't realize how lucky they have it. But Jess's marriage has got to change. Her husband is he's doing his best, but he doesn't really think about a lot of things. Okay, right. Let me start this. Right, here you go. This bit here. Right. I can't win, can I? I had a grin. None of my new matches look like my type. I tried a different app for once because she wasn't on Save the Date when she met up with hooked up with this guy. Got how hard it can be to find a hot, fun, yet an attached man to settle down and live happy ever after with. I need to find a mad scientist who can clone Tom, that's Jess's husband, for me. Is this the only decent man around? You two are so happy together after almost 20 years, so you must be doing a lot of things right. Okay. Okay. Replied Jess non-committedly. She hadn't talked to her best friend about how frustrated her husband was making her feel. Okay. Here you go. And so this is what the moment is, page 59, where Jess gets this brilliant idea. Hannah gets this brilliant idea. You should use Save the Date to find me a husband. Hannah sat back and grinned while Jess looked confused. But Hannah, isn't that what you've been doing? You've signed up to the app and you haven't met anyone you like. What difference is your idea? So Jess is the one who finds Hannah a husband. She gets everyone on the dating profile out, okay? And she's the one who picks Hannah's husband. Okay. So, interesting. Now, one thing that takes way too long with this book is then Jess goes to all Hannah's friends, family, people that she actually knows, and does a Q&A kind of thing. And it all say exactly the same thing. This could have been shortened or just them in one room. A big section of this book is taken up just building up to creating this fantasy husband, okay, for Jess. And, so for Hannah, sorry. Okay? Right. Here we go. Right. Right. Well, you know what she always like, rushing headlong into things. She needs a man who's going to make her stop and think before she runs off to the nearest hot country to find herself again. So someone who's going to complement her adventurous nature but keep her feet on dry land. Okay? Right. And I think okay about having kids. Okay? Has Anna ever talked about having kids, Jess asked tentatively in case she was crossing the line? Not directly and not recently, Joan said, as Hannah's mum. But she's always liked children, hasn't she? Now, this whole thing, okay, of having kids, okay, it comes up. It's like, that's one important thing that should have been established, first of all. Even on dating profiles, it says, do you want kids or not? Yes, no, maybe, okay? But, hey, I would be truly honest, okay, as a dating advisor in this, okay, with this app, okay, like Tinder, or Grinder or Bumblebee or whatever, it doesn't have particularly that great. Okay, Here you go. This is when Hannah and Jess are talking about this dating thing, okay? Right. Well, marriage thing. The consensus was you tend to go for men who aren't that well matched to you in terms of life goals and plans. It's like you're almost protecting yourself from having a long-term relationship by choosing guys who won't make it beyond 6 months. It feels like you're waiting for men to do the dirty on you, so you tend to get in first and end the relationship early. Right. No, well, hey. So the rules are they are going to set up this wedding, and to, they're not gonna. She's not gonna meet this man until the actual altar. Okay, the I do's. Right. There you go. But Hannah picks Toby. So Jess picks Toby for Hannah. Okay, Toby. As you can't meet or see what the other looks like before the big day, I thought you and Tom could write to each other and talk about your feelings. Instead of being between the two of you, I'll post the letters on the website so everyone can read them. That way we build on the publicity and buzz we've already started to create and hopefully get the public excited about the wedding of the year. Okay? As we discussed at this point, you'll be completely anonymous other than your first names and any information you share with each other. Whoever reads the post, obviously, it won't be until after the wedding we reveal your photos to your door in public. So these letters, okay, these two are going to write to each other and then going to be posted on a blog. Now, as someone who actually does have a blog, you always got to be careful, okay, about what you post. You don't want to get too personal. You don't want to say things, okay, you're going to regret. And they're going to be released out in the world. It just feels like the public is encroaching on this wedding. And, of course, this generates a lot of buzz. People, sponsors, want to get involved. They want to sponsor the wedding, and okay. And then it turns out that Hannah never told her family about it. Now this is something that comes up at Married at First Sight. I do love that show. I'm gonna actually be posting this when the new season starts. I'm currently watching the current season. Is they always have that moment at Married at First Sight when after people have been picked, they then say to their parents, respectively, I'm going to marry a stranger at the altar. Okay? And the parents always, or family, were like, oh, you're actually doing that? Oh, okay. As if they don't know about it in advance. Okay? Right. There you go. Right. And Hannah's reaction is, she's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay. And Jess is this bit here. But you did. I talked to you about the blogs and how we shared them publicly to help increase our subscription. I built interest for the big reveal when you're back from honeymoon. Jess said, completely bewildered. She was annoyed at herself for not checking that Hannah told her family before the date shared the news, but she couldn't understand how Hannah predicted this whole situation. Yeah, absolutely. But whilst this is going on, okay, is that Jess and her husband, Tom's relationship is they're going through a bit of a minefield. Essentially, Hannah's wedding's being planned. Jess has become the breadwinner. Okay, Tom is an artist, right? And he's not, Jess is the one sitting there stressing about credit card bills and the mortgage and everything else in between. And her husband just seems a little bit oblivious to this, and not put his head in the sand, but Jess can't really cope with all the struggle. Everything's on her shoulders. Okay? There you go. Right. This is when Jess is talking about growing the business. Right. There's nothing wrong with talking the talk to help you walk the walk, Tom, Jess replied. She felt rather than sore, sorry, and explaining to Giggles in bed next to her, and immediately felt her hackles rise. I don't know why you think it's so fun about me trying to save my business so I can pay the mortgage and buy school uniforms for the kids. Before she could stop herself, she added, not only you understand, it's called having ambition and wanting a better life. You should try it sometime, Tom. Oh, it's right, it's my fault. You're so your best friend to the press, is that it? Now that you've told her how much you plan to use her, I bet. I'm ambitious enough for my own plans, so it's down to you to support the family while I put my feet up in my office sketching a few drawings for clients. Is that how you really see it? And yeah, she actually does. You have Jess essentially pimping out her best friend for her business, okay? Getting all these freebies, getting all these sponsorships. And it really kind of crosses a line, okay, about, this celebrity wedding of the year, what is right and what do people want, okay? I mean, there's this really, really poignant bit here coming up, okay, where um, they're talking about sponsorships, okay? And this bit here, okay, it's people's blind sponsor this wedding, hashtag gifted, whatever, okay? Here you go. The flowers been provided by this amazing boutique company in Manchester. The the cake is going to be made by the geeky one from Bake Off a couple of seasons ago, right? And we've got a second cake made from cheese that's a local deli are doing. We've got favours being provided by a local artisan gin company and a massive balloon art, which is going to be look so cool. And there's a photo booth and a small tree people. People kind of message to the bride and groom. Plus, he might have a chocolate fountain, right? And that's the best bit. We're getting it all for free, right? Right. So this is from Joan. I still don't understand. Are you saying you're trading these extras for some words on Facebook and the website? So effectively selling your wedding day to every single one of the companies who want to give you things, right? Yeah, that is it. That is it. But the issue with this book is this: it takes 203 pages to get to this wedding. Okay, 203 pages of a book which is 350 pages long. All this build up, all this planning, all these wedding favours, all the issues okay with Hannah, Jess and her husband, where she finally meets um um Toby, okay, her husband. Way too long for build up. That is one of my biggest criticisms of this book, is the build up it took to actually get to this point. And also, one of the worst things is this, okay? This is chapter 15. This is the wedding, okay? Right. She swiveled her eyes to her hand, and a head of dark hair came into view. Sorry, eyes to left, and a head of dark hair came into view. Hannah reached for her ring finger and felt the cold metal of the wedding band. Yes, it really happened. She was a married woman. We don't see the wedding, okay? We do not see the wedding at all. We don't see, okay, people laughing together, that little awkward moment, the first dance, the sitting at the wedding breakfast at the table trying to make conversation, okay, where everyone's trying to talk to you. And we also don't see the honeymoon. They go to this lovely honeymoon to Sri Lanka. It was a gift, okay, and it's page 2116, and all we get is a wedding day was extraordinary, surprising, nerve-wracking and amazing. Here you go. That was it. It's really, really anticlimactic, okay? I mean, in most stories, okay, it ends at a wedding, okay? The end, like a fairy story, ends at a wedding, the wedding's a happy ever after, starts after the wedding, and there's drama, okay? Hey, 4 weddings and a funeral, hey, there's 4 weddings, right? Well, actually, one of them's at a wedding. one of them gets cancelled. So, here you go, right. And this has been pointed out, okay, Hannah, now she's married to Tom, she feels like her wings are clipped. She feels like this relationship, now she's married this guy, she actually needs to start dating him and working on it. And it's pointed out even on the blog that she seems not to be that into Tom. Okay, so into Toby. See, that's the problem as well, okay, is the fact is, a character is called Tom and that one's called Toby. Right. You officially really kind of thought that, okay? You thought that, okay? When you have characters who have similar names, it can get very, very confusing. Right. There already been some comments on the new blog about Hannah not seeming to be into the marriage as Tom, and that was another thing for Jess to worry about. And then there was a situation with Tom. So Hannah not seeming to be into marriage as Toby, which was just another thing for Jess to worry about. And there was that situation with Tom, her husband. You see the problem. Characters' names are too similar. Right, you shouldn't have done that. Right. And an issue is the fact is that Toby, okay, Jess's new husband, he seems pretty cool, okay. He has a ex-fiance, Emma, who died, okay. Now, they do not talk about this whatsoever. He's just like, yeah, she passed away. And suddenly to Hannah, she become like the lost and all. She become like the unattainable. I would never be like Emma. And she seems to find excuses to push Toby away. Okay, she just pushed him away. Uh, this is when, okay, they're talking about kids, okay, the children thing. Or why wasn't this children thing talked about earlier? Why wasn't this children thing discussed in letters? Why wasn't this children thing, hey, even on the goddamn blog, okay, or on the original application? Right, here you go. Right. Well, I had a little chat with Toby when I was going through the selection process. I asked him whether kids were definite yes or no for him, and he said he thought he quite liked children, but only with the right person, which seemed like a sensible thing to do. Right, here you go. Well, no, that's an important thing. That's an important thing to have, okay? And so also is the fact that Hannah has spent so much of her life being independent, which is fantastic. She's one that she's traveling. You know, she stays in one place for long enough to actually earn some money, saves it, and goes off. Okay, she spent basically most of her 20s and 30s traveling. Marvelous. Okay, it is now okay that she's married. She can't do that anymore. She can't just pack a suitcase and go. And her friend D in Australia says, "Why don't you come with me? Go with, so won't you meet up with me at Christmas, okay? And we can go snorkeling, okay, or scuba diving." And she's like, "Yeah, cool, that'd be great, okay." Then she's with Toby's family, okay, and of course it's Christmas, okay. What does family do for Christmas? Normally, a lot of families alternate, okay. Here you go. Right, no. You can come on Christmas Eve and stay as long as you like. This is from Elaine, Toby's mum. "Thanks, Mum, that's really kind," Toby replied, reaching for Elaine's hand. Hannah presumed he would follow up with something along the lines of, "But we haven't had a chat about what we're doing over Christmas yet, so let's come back to you once we know our plans." But no, instead, he said, "We'd love to come here for Christmas, wouldn't we, Hannah? Dad always does the best turkey and trimmings." Right. But the thing is, Hannah never said to Toby, would you like to go? Okay. Would you like to go to Australia for Christmas? She never said that to him. So she's pushing him away, in a way, blaming him for the faults, and it all kind of comes out in the car ride on the way home. Okay, right. About and this is a totally cross line. This would be an instant divorce, right? "Look, it's hard for me, Hannah. It's hard for me too, Toby. We all have baggage." She explained. "You don't get to do the poor boy fiance act forever. Okay, here you go. It's not like you'll speak to me about it. Neither of us are perfect, Toby, but at the moment it feels like you're living in make-believe land where everything is shiny and rosy between us. That's just not the case. It really isn't. I'm starting to think I may have made the biggest mistake of my life saying I do." Okay? Of course, it's the line bringing up the fiance. Just blaming him. And one thing is that Hannah idealised marriage, okay? Now, no marriage is perfect. Everyone has their ups and downs, okay? They're just doing the best that they can, right? And which makes no sense because her parents are divorced. Her father moved on. She's now got a half sister called Seraphine, and a new stepmom called Charmaine. And her mama spends her time just basically slagging her dad off, okay? Because hey, and because her grandparents had such a wonderful relationship, okay? She wants what her grandparents had. She idolizes marriage, okay? Which for someone who's got divorced parents makes no sense, okay? When your parents are divorced, you be quite realistic, okay, about it. "Hannah, darling, I feel I may have presented you with somewhat idealized view of my marriage to you as we were growing up, and don't look like it. And don't look like that. Robbie and I were just in love. I've always said we were. I'm in love with him and always will be. I don't want you to think we had some kind of miracle relationship where we never disagreed, never thought he was being foolish or selfish. Of course, there were times that I thought those things and he thought them of me. But we got through those times. Yeah. Right. So, what is going on? Sorry. Jess's marriage, she needs to take a break from her husband. She goes away to a hotel for a week and reads and catches up on some telly and just leaves it all to her husband, who kind of wakes up and realizes, oh my god, yeah, she works bloody hard to kind of pull up as a husband. Just winds up selling the business for a obscene amount of money. And hey, there you go. And but also, finally, Jess is honest, okay, about why she was so wrapped up in Hannah's relationship. She does admit she did pimp out her friend, okay? Right. I threw all my energies into making a success of Hannah's blind date wedding to prove I wasn't a failure. But then I couldn't enjoy what was happening because I knew Hannah's happiness was so tied up with save the date success. A save the date success was so tied up with Hannah's happiness that if one plate stopped spinning, they all come tumbling down, and not only would I be fair as a wife and a mother, I'd be fair as a friend, employee and breadwinner. Right. So, and it ends with them Christmas in Australia. Okay. Hannah and Toby, they're making it work. They talk about it. Right. The premise was good, but it took. Why didn't we see the honeymoon? Why didn't we see the wedding? That's my problem with this. Everything seems to happen after the event, and that really, really bothered me. However, strength of writing I thought was really good, and I was kind of pulled in, okay, to everyone's kind of relationships. Having two characters, male, called Toby and Tom, got a bit confusing. But hey, I enjoyed it for what it was, but it could have been a lot better. I wanted to see the wedding and the honeymoon, not the aftermath, not the past tense. So, Married at First Swipe, by Claire Frost. That was okay, and I'm starting off here. Bye now.